Welcome back. It's time for the big numbers on the Big Bihar battle, the India Today Cicero poll. Remember, this is the big opinion poll before the people of Bihar vote in a 5-phase election that begins next week. What are the numbers? How are they stacking up if the polls are held today? Remember, we did a poll in September as well. What is the difference? Has there been a mood swing in Bihar? Is the question that I'm going to raise in a moment. Let's go straight to our big screen and find out how this is playing out on the ground at the moment. Take a look at the numbers now as they are stacking up for you. This is where Bihar was in 2010 when the last elections were held there. Alliances have changed, so remember the numbers are in the context of the new alliances. In 2010, when the JDU swept the elections, they had 49.8% of the votes. The BJP at that time was part of the alliance, but now on its own is about 23.2 along with Paswan, and others were 27. Now, forget all these numbers because this is a new election with new alliances. When we did our survey in September, these were the numbers. 40% for the JDU, RJD, Congress alliance, 42% for the BJP. The BJP was 2% ahead of the Janata Dal United Nitish alliance in September, a month ago. Have things changed now in October? And let's take a look at how the numbers have changed, because the Janata Dal United Nitish Lalu alliance is actually holding and gone up by 1%. 40 has become 41. The BJP-led alliance has gone down from 42 to 39. So there's a swing away from them and a marginal swing as per percentages go. This could be within the margin of error, remember, and 20% are others. What we are seeing at the moment is that even though compared to 2010, Nitish is coming down, he still at the moment seems marginally ahead of the BJP. And the others are 20%, but they are taking votes as per our poll from both sides. How is this translating into seats? And remember, these are seats done by Cicero. So Dhananjay Joshi takes responsibility for this. In 2010, the alliance had 141. If I add the seats of Nitish and Lalu, 94 were of the BJP. If I add the seats of BJP and Paswan in particular, others were 8. In September, when we did the poll, we projected 106 for the JDU, RJD, Congress alliance, and we had predicted 125 or a majority for the BJP. The BJP was comfortably ahead a month ago, others were 12. Has the situation changed? Take a look at our new numbers now. We are now saying 122. That's just over the halfway mark for this alliance. 122 is what we are predicting for the alliance of the JDU, Congress, RJD alliance, and 111 for the BJP. And others are down to 10. There's a shift between September and October. It appears that Nitish Kumar-led alliance has gained over the BJP-led Narendra Modi alliance. You've got to defend the numbers there, Dhananjay Joshi. Tell me, how are you getting these numbers at the moment? It's the most difficult task, which is actually translating percentages into seats.
Votes into seats.
1 month ago, BJP leading. 1 month later, Nitish leading. Are you simply saying, basically you're hedging your bets by saying, if BJP wins, you'll remind us of the September poll.
No, but
if the JDU wins, you're going to remind us of the October poll.
But elections.
What has changed in the last month?
Well, what has changed in the last month is, and I'll go back to caste, again back to caste. What has happened is that there's a 3-point swing against the BJP. 2 points have gone to other parties and only 1 point has gone to the Mahagathbandhan.
But now, it is within the margin of error. Let's be clear. It's within the margin of error. If 39% is going to play 41, 42%, you're basically within the margin of error.
These figures could be, this 39 could be 37 and 41 could be 43.
You believe that if
that's a margin of error.
That's right. But
2 percentage points on both sides.
Yes, but it could well become that it's almost a dead heat.
Yeah, but I have signed up for not hiding behind margin of error, so I wouldn't do that.
Okay, you are a brave man and I am not a brave man. So I'm allowing you to have the... Manisha, what has changed in the last month?
Okay, so
has changed?
Your question has the answer. Time is so critical. You're saying something's changed in the last 1 month.
And
So
that's the long
certainly
game in
the person
politics.
who's gaining has done something in the last 1 month. There is a man called Prashant Kishore, and don't think Nitish is a non-politician because he's being given all the voter...
Prashant Kishore, for our, just a minute, Prashant Kishore, for our viewers, was part of Team Modi during the 2014 elections. He is someone who claims that he has understands elections, but I've heard this from many people in the past till they suffer an election defeat. Now, we can't put this entirely to Prashant Kishore.
No,
I want to know
just saying,
what has changed on the ground.
On the ground, Nitish is campaigning. It's strange, but Nitish is campaigning by himself, not to be seen with Mr. Lalu Yadav, not to be seen certainly by the side of Mr. Rahul Gandhi. So he's campaigning all along. So suddenly it's becoming a Modi being very popular and in demand versus Nitish battle inching towards.
So it's not Lalu versus Modi, because you know the fact that I've wondered often.
Lalu, the die is cast. Lalu's votes are with Nitish. End of story. He done, exhausted.
Lalu's votes
no
are
more. He
consolidated.
cannot get any swing votes.
Lalu's
You cannot
votes
get
are
any more swing
consolidated.
votes.
The reason I'm going to ask this to you, Veer, is because the audiences, the English middle class, which is possibly watching this program, hopefully, is going to say there, Lalu Prasad, man convicted, cannot even contest the elections, uses words like haramzada against journalists when things go wrong, is someone who represents an old style of politics that is perhaps gone, has had its time. And yet at the moment, if you go by the survey, Lalu, if anything, as is being suggested by the two worthies here, is transferring his votes to Nitish in substantial numbers.
Yeah, I don't think you can ever count Lalu out. Lalu has substantial support within the others, which these polls suggest he's not losing. He does have a certain amount of support within the people of Bihar. But what is clear is that nobody's prepared to elect him as chief minister. And to that extent, I think the English-speaking middle class is right. People's standards have changed. They want somebody who's honest, somebody who's doing to achieve things. And Nitish has been a much more successful chief minister than Lalu, which is why all Lalu can ultimately do is keep his vote and hand it over to Nitish.
Because one of the
if you turned it around,
exactly.
and if Lalu was the chief minister candidate, you wouldn't get this result.
No, because one of the questions that we asked, that we asked in our poll was, is there Jungle Raj in Bihar? Is there Jungle Raj today in Bihar? Now, a large proportion, almost 42% in our survey said, yes, there is some kind of Jungle Raj that exists in Bihar. At the same time, a large percentage of the vote said that Nitish Kumar has brought development to Bihar. So you've got more than 50% saying yes, there has been development in Bihar, but there's also those who are haunted by the spectre of Jungle Raj. Look at those, 42, 36, 22. When asked, has Nitish brought development to Bihar, you will find again that Nitish is doing strongly. So how do you explain this, Surjit? At the moment, it appears that we are all suggesting that the BJP and Narendra Modi should have had the advantage. 1 month ago, that's what we were analyzing. Yes. Suddenly, Dhananjay Joshi turns around and says, Nitish Kumar is now holding his own. Lalu is transferring his votes to Nitish. The caste arithmetic is working.
Okay, I think you're being a bit unfair to Cicero because the race remains too close to call.
It's a dead heat.
It's a dead heat. It was a dead heat a month ago, according to the polls. It's a dead heat now. For us to infer big seismic changes from 1 or 2 percentage point swings is, I think, a gross injustice to polling.
Not seismic, but holding their own.
No, so that's the same.
I thought one side will pull ahead. That hasn't happened.
It's still too close to call. As you rightly said, if September turns out to be right, Cicero is right. If October turns out to be right, Cicero is right. It's still too close to call. Okay. Where Cicero will be wrong, will be, and that's a possibility, if it's a slide one way or the other.
Right.
So that's the first point.
Delhi.
Second point, since we have on the left the strong contention about caste mattering, especially in a place like Bihar, I would just like to pose the following question to the audience as well as to the worthies on your right. And the question is this: whose caste are we talking about? Is it the caste of the candidate? If it is a caste of the candidate, then why isn't every party putting up the people where they think that caste is dominant? Then how do you differentiate? Wait, how do you differentiate between one caste, or is it the caste of the leader? So in this case, Nitish Kumar's caste.
Can I just make the point?
This race is too close to call.
It's too close to call, I agree. But what is clear, Ajit, is that... What is clear at the moment, Ajit, is if you look at 16% Muslim vote or 17% Muslim vote, and about 16% Yadav vote. That's coming to about 32-33%. Some say about 14 to 15% Yadav vote, let's say. So it's about 32-33% together. It appears that that traditional MY combination is shifting and consolidating. This vote could not be, Nitish and Lalu would not be in the position to even be in too close to call without that vote consolidating. Right. Is that something that perhaps is the one advantage that Nitish Kumar and Lalu Prasad at the moment have, which is giving them, as per him, a slight edge, that their vote is consolidating, the other side is getting fractured?
I think that's happening actually, Rajdeep. If you look at the sort of distribution of castes, the upper caste vote is consolidating more in favor of the NDA, and the so-called OBC, MBC, Dalit, for example, interestingly, is moving away from the BJP towards the Mahagathbandhan.
Because the BJP has consciously targeted the Dalit vote in this election. They've got Paswan on their side, they've got Jitin Ram Majhi, but sometimes we forget, for example, that the Ramdasi community is almost as strong as Paswan's community.
The problem with the BJP is the mistakes that the BJP has made in this election as the campaign picks up. The BJP is also following a Mandal card, just like the Mahagathbandhan, giving 22 tickets, for example, to Yadavs. Now, there it is trailing the Mandal leaders, number one. Number two, the infighting within the BJP camp between the various factions, between the upper castes and the so-called OBCs is very, very high. Number three, dynasty was supposed to be something the BJP never played with in the past. In Bihar, both the allies of the BJP and the BJP has played the dynasty card. Nitish Kumar has not. Nitish Kumar is seen as one leader, no dynasty. Nitish Kumar is seen as one leader whose vote base, caste vote base, is only 4%. But he's seen as the sort of development hero. So as the campaign picks up, the BJP looks more and more like the Mahagathbandhan, but trailing the Mahagathbandhan.
But you know,
because the agenda is set. Because the agenda is set by Nitish Kumar. In
quick point.
A quick point on the Muslims. Since you mentioned about their vote, you know, this poll is radically different than the first Cicero poll as far as Muslims are concerned. In the first poll, the Mahagathbandhan had 65% of the Muslim vote and 15% for the NDA. This time, it's only 40%. There's a huge decline, 25 percentage points.
70%, there must be
he's saying there's an error in that. He's saying it's are you saying 70% Muslim vote as per your survey? 70%.
It says 40 over here.
Okay, we will check that. Okay, so 70%, but just
could be a problem with your copy.
Again, who is, then there's another question on the same Muslim
just
vote.
a minute.
Best suited to look after the interests of the Muslims. Mahagathbandhan 36 and NDA 36. So there are elements in this. Maybe it's the Owasi factor. I do not know.
No, what is I'm
trying to say?
No, what is interesting
is not showing that the Muslims have moved and are staying en masse with the JDU.
What the poll is clearly showing is that there is no anti-incumbency against Nitish Kumar.
That's right.
What it is also showing is that on many of the sub-questions, the BJP and Narendra Modi in particular is rated favorably, which is why we are saying it is heading towards a dead heat-like situation. But Dipankar Gupta, you say people don't vote on caste lines. Would you agree religion is different? Particularly in an election like this, if there is one group where there is consolidation increasingly taking place, it is Muslims. Would you concede, particularly in a state like Bihar with a 17% Muslim population and many seats where they make a difference between defeat and victory? That is one vote which is lost, because Nitish and Lalu and Congress are starting this time almost with a 17% edge. Even if we assume 80% of those 17% will vote for them, they start with a 14% edge in a two-horse race, or what is becoming a two-horse race.
Yeah, you're right. I agree with you that in this case, the BJP would have been better advised to keep its fringe element in place, because of what has been going on of late, including the beef eating episode, hasn't done BJP any good in many parts of Bihar, especially where the Muslims are in dominance. I think the Muslims think nationally more than any caste does. And because Muslims think nationally, therefore, anything that happens to Muslims anywhere in the nation actually affects people in every nook and cranny. And that is a big difference between Muslims and castes. And if you look at the way in which Muslims have probably behaved this time around, I think what has happened in the beef eating controversy is not going to do Modi much good.
Javed Ansari, if you're still with us at the moment, how is this actually playing out on the ground? are you getting a sense that there is this consolidation which is taking place of the traditional voter that you said that Lalu Prasad always used to carry with him, the Muslim Yadav voter? Okay, we'll go to Javed in a moment, but it's very interesting that there are those who believe the BJP to win this election has to polarize also. That they need the Hindu vote. Like we can say the beef controversy may be consolidating the Muslim vote, some believe, behind Lalu and Nitish. There will be others who will say there's the Hindu vote bank also. When you hear about Giriraj Singh, so there's Modi at the top who talks of development, but on the ground the likes of Giriraj Singh talk about a Hindu vote bank. Do you believe the Hindu vote bank exists also? Or is it much like caste, something that we like to talk about in the studio, but on the ground it's a little different?
Well, three things. One is that this poll was done really before the beef controversy
erupted. It was done before the beef
So I don't know what effect it will have. Secondly, in terms of the Giriraj Singhs and co, what Modi has said today, you can argue he didn't go far enough, he didn't name anybody. But after Modi saying Pranab Mukherjee was right, do not pay attention to people who try and separate communities. If any of these VHP types or these lower level BJP leaders start getting up and saying things that are communal, the impression that will go out is that they're not listening to Modi. That's not something Modi can afford. So regardless of whether Modi was strong or weak, the message is very clear. These guys are going to have to pipe down. If they pipe down, it's going to be more difficult to do communal polarization. And in any case, in my experience, whenever Hindus vote as a bloc, they do so when they feel under threat. There is no evidence at the moment in Bihar that Hindus are voting. That's
a very interesting point. That's a very interesting point. I just want to play what Modi said. Let's just listen in. Narendra Modi today in Nevada went ahead and said he endorsed every word of what President Pranab Mukherjee said you need to preserve the tolerance and plurality and that you need to stay away from the politics of hate. Listen into what Narendra Modi said and then I'll get comments on that. Is Mr. Modi in a sense sending out a firm signal to the nation, or was he in a sense responding to the impact it's having on the ground in Bihar? Listen in.
देश को एक रहना है, एकता, सद्भावना, भाईचारा, शांति, यही देश को आगे ले जाएगा। और इसलिए मेरे भाइयों बहनों, मैं देशवासियों को कहना चाहता हूं कि राजनीति के कारण छोटे मोटे हर अपना राजनीतिक स्वार्थ सीधा करने के लिए उटपटांग बयानबाजी करने पर तुले रहते हैं। मैं देशवासियों को कहता हूं, इन राजनेताओं की बयानबाजियों पर ध्यान मत दीजिए। खुद नरेंद्र मोदी कहता है अगर उसके भी बात मत सुनिए। अगर सुनना है तो कल हमारे देश के राष्ट्रपति श्रद्धेय प्रणब मुखर्जी दादा ने जो भाषण किया है और देश को जो संदेश दिया है, उससे बड़ा कोई मार्गदर्शन नहीं हो सकता है।
Strong words there from Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Let's take a break because that's not the only controversy that's played out. In the last month, one thing may have changed. Remember Mohan Bhagwat, RSS leader, speaking, or RSS Sarsanchalak speaking about the need to move away from caste-based reservation to the economics of reservation. Does that play out on the ground? Or is it, as we keep saying, caste the real factor in Bihar? Back in a moment.